So, hello, Alexa.
Hi, nice to see you, Gemma.
Yeah. So, thanks for being Woman Inspiration. And you know that my first question always is, what is the woman that inspires in your life?
Okay, so for sure, my mom is a big inspiration to me because she raised me and my sister as a single mom. And I don't know if it's so much like what she did, because there's a lot of women who raise children and are doctors, and you know, but I think it was like she had this attitude of like, I'm not afraid of anything or anyone. And, I think that was something that for me was something that I really learned as a woman, that you can really push boundaries with a lot of systems. You can really question a lot. You can really speak your voice. You can really like push your limits into situations that sound risky or like women should never go there. And as a child, like my mom didn't have that boundary. So sometimes I was scared, like, Mom, don't do that, but actually I started to learn that as a woman, there's a lot of space that you can take and a lot of opinions you can have in front of a lot of people that would seem inappropriate or inadequate. And it's always given me that freedom. I was like, can I push this a little further? Can I question this a bit more? Can I put my hand up and say this isn't good enough? And I find that like that lesson is the lesson that I think I took, not so much about how hard she worked and all that kind of stuff, because I think women are amazing in every level, but it's like, what boundary am I able to push? What risk am I willing to take right now in this moment when technically it's not what I'm supposed to be doing as a woman? So she's one of my biggest inspirations. And then the second person is probably Lady Gaga. So I'm very much into these women that are very out there in the world, claiming space and really daring to be different. Like they are the people, the women who most inspire me.
It sounds that for you also it's important about the breaking the rules.
Totally. I just never was very good with rules. Obviously, like I understand why they're in place and why they're necessary. And I think that they're important at many times, but it started with like school rules. There were so many rules that were like, I didn't see why they were necessary, so I would always like confront them and see like, okay, if I break it, like, is it that bad? Like if I, like, what is the level of punishment really? Or is it a story that there will be a punishment? Is there a story that will be a retaliation? And am I willing to kind of test that? I find rules very suffocating. I find them a bit like, it takes away a lot of your freedom of self-expression, of creativity. And I understand they are necessary for obviously civil order. And I do mostly abide by the rules, but I'm also willing to see like if we can question them. It's more about questioning the rules. Like, can we question them? Is it necessary? Is it true? Yeah.
Which is the rule that you question more at the moment?
I think a lot of the rules of like family rules and gender rules. I think like
tell me about
for me. Yeah, and you start to see that it can play, even though we are very free as like Western white women and stuff. So I'm obviously speaking from a place of privilege, but like there's very like subconscious little things happening, little patterns of beliefs of how things should be done in a home, as a mother, for little things like who's going to take the children to school? Mm-hmm. My husband just runs off and goes to work. And I'm like, I need to do this, right? And I'm like, why me? Why not you? Right? So I'm questioning a bit like the role of like hierarchy in the house. Like, why do I have to do that? I might want to do that, but where is your part in that? Like, and I don't think men, even though my husband is quite a very open person, he doesn't see it as it's his job as well as my job. Like it's a 50-50 job. It's kind of like, it's my job most of the time. Right? And if for some reason I can't do it, then it becomes his job. And I really want to question that. I'm like, is that true? Why? Is it because you earn more money than me? Is it because you pay more bills than me? And then we've created a hierarchy where I got to do this invisible work that I'm not paid for. And I think that where it starts is the family, and it can kind of like roll out to other ideas, right? That's kind of where I'm at.
And I agree
big battle.
And I think thinking on this, I think also maybe could be, maybe not your case, but I'm thinking on my case, how we were raised. I mean, if we in your family, you saw your mom picking up you from school, or your mom doing the lunch, the dinner, everything. So maybe you don't question when it comes to you because it was normal for you to see your mom doing that. So I guess it's something like we keep doing things like it's the normal and we don't question. And it's true. Why I have to go to pick my kids? Why I have always to go to the doctor? Why it's me, no?
Yeah, totally. I think that it's cultural, right? And it's generational, and we've inherited the belief that maybe this is the job of the mother. And we as modern women are having the bigger struggle because we're having to do the old work, invisible work, and we're trying to obviously do the paid work. We're expected to do the paid work as well. We have the expectation on ourselves because we are educated, or our family have invested in us, whether they have invested for us to then do the invisible work and then do the paid work as well. So we're managing these two roles, and I don't think that's healthy for the feminine. And so I am a big advocate of questioning this, of asking, why am I doing this? I don't resent the dropping off at school. Do you understand that? That's not the point. Like, my mom could never take me to school. So I kind of like doing a bit of this because I'm also like, I couldn't be collected at school by my mom. So I want to break that as well a bit from my generational kind of trauma and be like, I want to pick up my kids at school. But the question is like, why am I doing it? Why do I feel like... And then the second thing that is like, oh, the children need the mother more. The mother is the number one caregiver for the child.
Tell me, what do you think about this?
I don't know. I want to be in a world, I want to live in a family that my children see their father as, I could go on a vacation. I could, that they would have a father who is a full parent. Mm-hmm. That it's a 50-50 split. There is a biological thing of the mom for sure, but if you're always taking on the role of caring for the child, of course the child will associate care and love from the mother rather than the father. And then there's this there's this term that I heard, which is called strategic incompetence, commonly used by men. Write that down. Where they're like, but I don't know how to do her hair, but I don't know how to do the grocery shopping. I don't know what the kids like to eat. I don't know, as if it's an astronomical calculation of how to tie a ponytail. You do the ponytail. I don't know how to tie the ponytail. I was like, you can just learn how to tie a ponytail, right? Rather than me, I don't know, let me give it to the mom. My husband the other day, after 4 years telling me he didn't know how to make a ponytail, made a ponytail.
And it's pretty easy to say, I don't know, I don't know how to do this. Well,
but I don't know what you guys like to eat, so I can go to the supermarket. I was like, you know exactly what we eat. You live in this house, right? Isn't it interesting? Yeah, so I'm questioning a lot of gender roles, and I see it a lot, even in a family that I consider my husband to participate well, not 100%, but I do make sure that he's involved.
So you declare yourself as a feminist. When did you start to feel like you are a feminist? I
didn't see the patriarchy playing a role. I didn't see the inequality, the gender inequality and distribution of wealth and problems like that until I became a mother. Before, I experienced the male dominance, but I was like, I'm up for it. I'm up for all the competition with you guys. I'm so gonna use my power over, I like the power struggle at work. But when the motherhood thing hits as a millennial mother, right? This new generation of mothers. And then I start to see, I'm raising a child alone. I'm trying to run a business. My husband's just going to his finance, whatever well-paid job, and coming home and being like, but there's nothing I can really do about it. And so I have so much more on my plate. And it wasn't just me. Then I saw all my friends exhausted, burnt out, with mental health problems, struggling with depression, struggling with weight gain, weight loss, body image issues, right? Going back to work and losing their jobs. It was not one person or two people. Having contracts pulled away because they questioned maternity policies. There is a problem here. What am I not aware of? So I started to I started first following more mothers who were bloggers and outspoken about the gender role, inequality. Started to read more books. And then I was like, this is a huge problem. Where have I been? I started to read more about sexual harassment at work. I started to read more about just discrimination in general. And I was like, whoa, there's something fundamentally wrong with our system. And that's when I started to point out to people, like, this is a feminist issue. Like, this is a patriarchal issue. The second time it really, really occurred to me was when I started to coach my female clients. When I became a coach, it's like, I can coach you as far as I can on the mindset level. And then there is a very deep subconscious repression and oppression that is happening at a level that I can't even understand. But why do all my clients keep bumping into the same invisible wall? And I can try to change their thoughts. I can try to think differently. I can try to reframe a lot of their old stories, but it was just so much bigger, especially for women running businesses. That's when I started to read more about this. So what is it? Why can't I coach anyone out of this? Why are we all stuck in the same fundamental problem, which is low self-esteem, low self-confidence, feelings of being flawed, of being there's something wrong with me, like imposter syndrome, perfectionism, people pleasing, all around building businesses and being ambitious. I was like, we're all in the same place. So what's going on? Like, even I started to study more the effects of the patriarchy, and I started to become more familiar with systemic oppression and how that plays a role in the subconscious mind, and how the only way to work through this is understanding trauma of the collective and the ancestral and the individual trauma of the woman. And then that's when like my brain blew up, because it was way beyond life coaching and mindset. It was like a whole can of worms was open, and it became my mission. And then that was the first time I felt understood. I was like, I understand myself now. Through this lens, I can know that I'm not the only one, and it's not just me. We're in this together. And that gave me power to love myself more and to have more compassion and to not find a villain. I don't think the point of this is to find a villain to my victim, not to victimize myself, but to actually just understand, oh, this is why we all have the pattern. This is what we need to work through, not to victimize ourselves or find someone to blame, but it's knowing who caused it. And like what the cause is so much easier to cure and heal and then move forward. And then I just started to really integrate that in my conversation. And I feel like it's really
also, it's when also you start to help women, no, to build their business and working with them also. What was in that wall, no, that didn't allow them to show up and having the confidence and having, well, all the things that you need to run a business, no?
100%. And then it's funny because when you start thinking about something, you start attracting more of that information. Like, have you realized as soon as you want to become a coach, all you see is coaches, or like, because like whatever your brain is thinking about, you start to attract into your life. And then I started to attract amazing books, follow amazing authors. Like I started to see more content about this idea that I was also integrating and learning how to articulate to my clients. And then it became kind of a mission, really. Now I can't have a conversation without bringing this up.
It's about a mission. It's a mission for you, Alex.
Yeah, it's become a bit of a mission. It's like, okay, yes, I'm a coach, but bigger than that, I teach women about what the patriarchy and systemic oppression has done to their self-esteem and energy, right? And how do we, and the way to break through this is to understand that. So I'm mostly spreading feminist ideas, and then I also integrate that with business and mindset coaching to help women move through that patriarchal wall and then be able to really be the people that they're meant to be in the world.
So I'm going to share also when I post this interview, your Instagram, and I think you can help a lot of women as you do with me. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, your work. And I'm really, really glad to have you in my life.
No, and I'm so glad to have you too. Yeah, I think you're, and the thing is, like, you know, when a woman understands herself better, like the whole world is healing. The whole world becomes a better place. Like, and so that, I think that's like seeing me learn about myself and then being able to find where we have common ground and talk about it openly in our coaching conversations. And you suddenly like have a light bulb moment. And now you have other ideas and a different way of integrating the knowledge and different way of processing your truth and your story so you can then share with other people is how I believe we're creating a better planet. When women are healed, there's a better world. That's it.
100%. So thank you so much. I'll see you soon.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.